Hey, Glovelies, and welcome back to Glove Actually. I'm Courtney.
I'm Hallie.
And I'm Melissa.
And this week we have lots to talk about. Later, we will be joined by our bestie, Nick, who you may know better as the creator of the Tailgate app. We're going to talk all about the Tailgate app, how it helps to connect transplant sport fans, as well as talk about his favorite, the Detroit sports scene. But as always, if there's anything you want us to talk about here on the podcast, be sure to leave it in the comments and be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the Glove Actually podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to turn on those post notifications to stay in the loop when we post new episodes every Wednesday. All right, Glovelies, we're going to kick things off as always with our Pookies of the week. Melissa, who's your Pookie of the week this week?
All right, so I made a big dedication yesterday saying I'm going to be a better Orioles fan because I have not been a good Orioles fan this season because I've been a little disappointed about how things have been going. But part of that effort is going to be my Pookie this week is going to be Tyler O'Neill.
Nice.
Of course, Tyler gets a lot of heat on the Orioles, but he had a really good game yesterday against the White Sox. He had an amazing save out in right field. He got a home run. So I liked what I saw yesterday, Tyler. So keep up the good work. You're my Pookie of the week.
Love that. And yeah, it was Canada Day. If there's any day for him to have a good day, I guess it should be Canada Day if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Hallie, who's your Pookie this week?
My Pookie this week is Christina Koch, the astronaut who recently went on the moon mission. She got to throw out the first pitch at a Phillies game this week, and I think that's really cool. I think the moon is cooler than anything else ever, even cooler than baseball. So it was really nice to see two things I like a lot collide.
Copy Moonjoy.
I love it.
All right. Well, this week, Bash Bro Joe, shout out Bash Bro Joe, and Melissa and I actually did a live show earlier this week. So I am going to echo my shout out from our live show earlier this week. So I've actually got a double Pookie. This week, my Pookies are Los Angeles Dodgers first baseman and obvious future first ballot Hall of Famer Freddie Freeman, and Athletics infielder Joshua Kuroda-Grauer, who just had his major league debut. So for those of you who were not watching, during his very first at-bat during his debut, Joshua hit an RBI single, and as he reached first base, he was very promptly congratulated by Freddie Freeman in a very wholesome moment of sportsmanship. So that is the type of positivity that we like to see. And I think just in general, Freddie's done a lot of very Pookie-worthy things. So I'm looking forward to some more Pookie-worthy moments from Joshua. And for those reasons and many others, you guys are both my double Pookie of the week this week.
Love
It
those
just
moments.
dawned on me that Freddie Freeman and Max Fried are different people.
I can't help you.
I don't even think God can help me at that point.
They play for two different teams.
They play two different positions.
They are two different people. They have two different first names. They have two different last names.
I don't even know what either of them look like. You could show me a picture of both of them and I'd be like, yeah, great. I don't even know what they look alike. Do they look alike?
They don't.
No.
Here's the thing. What I will say
Good.
is that they both used to play for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, so that's where my confusion comes from. Totally.
Yeah, that's it.
Listen, yup, that's it.
Oh my God.
All right, Glovelies. Well, we want to hear from you. Who is your Pookie of the week this week? Is it Max Fried? Is it Freddie Freeman? Let us know in the comments. Tag your Pookie if you can. All right, Glovelies, we've got a very special episode for you today. Today, we are joined by Nick Burnett, creator and mastermind behind the Tailgate app. And he is also a Detroit sports fan, passionate about connecting people with fellow fans of their favorite sports teams. I found him on TikTok. Hopefully, you're already following him. If not, make sure you get on that. Welcome to the pod, Nick.
Yay!
Hey, appreciate it, ladies. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Really excited to get to connect with you guys and obviously talk a little shop, talk a little baseball, and get into the sports world. Gonna have a lot of fun today.
Heck yeah, we are so excited that you are here. So obviously, Nick, we're going to have to talk to you about the Tailgate app as well as the Detroit sports scene. And then we are going to give you a rapid fire quiz and get your hot takes on our top 5 for this week. Does that sound good to you?
Let's do it.
Perfect. Okay, so Nick, we've got to know who is your Pookie of the week this week.
You know, I spent a lot of time on this one. Honestly, out of all of the things that I thought about coming into this conversation, this is probably the hardest decision. I went with the local Detroit Tigers product, Kevin McGonigal. for my Pookie of the Week this week.
Hey.
Rookie of the Year favorite in the American League, absolute dog behind the corners, and he's swinging a hot stick. He's representing South Philly, or I should say southeastern Pennsylvania, really, really well. Loving me some KM this year.
Perfect. Absolutely. McGonagall's on a tear this year, and
Mhm.
I'm right there with you. I think that he has certainly made a case for AL Rookie of the Year. I'm right there with you. All right. So, Nick, first of all, I have got to know what inspired you to create the Tailgate app.
Yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, it was a combination of, three different things. It was loneliness, it was jealousy, and it was frustration. I spent countless years, whether it was football games, basketball games, baseball, hockey, college sporting events, going to sports bars, hoping to find other Detroit fans. I grew up in the southeastern PA market near Philly, and just naturally not easy to find other Detroiters when you're not in Michigan, right? So wondered why it was so hard to find other Detroit fans. I knew that they were out there. It couldn't have been that hard to find them, right? So started to get really lonely in those bar stools, spending hours by myself while everybody else celebrate and watch their team. So in came the jealousy. And then, I said the frustration was the last piece of the puzzle. It was, the why is it so hard question. Why do I have to search Google or hope that there's a Facebook group, or, sift through the number of subreddits on Reddit to hope that I can find a Detroit bar, which, to be honest, does not exist. I've not found one. So a little bit of everything, honestly, gang, from sitting there in the bar stool, making friends, and just watching other people enjoy game days and really not being able to feel that same energy, to just really being frustrated that there wasn't a solution, and there wasn't really anybody that seemed like they were trying to tackle it either. So I said, listen, I'm going to make that happen. Right. So I love community. I love people. I love sports. I love a good sports bar. So I said, why not bring it all together and just try to have some fun with it? Right.
Absolutely. And we're all about connecting people here. We're all about making sure that everyone feels comfortable, everyone feels represented. And that's a lot easier to do when you have like-minded sports fans around you. So definitely feel that. So what can you tell us about the app? Can you tell us a little bit about how it works?
Yeah, 100%. So what we really tried to do is keep it simple in the early stages of the app. So we just launched on the App Store about 2 months ago. For version 1, we really wanted to keep it simple. We really wanted to make it easy. It's a simplified user experience. You log on, create an account, pick your favorite teams, and then boom, you're on the map with everybody else. There is a timeline so you can post, comment, like. So it feels familiar to a lot of the other social sites that we have. So it's not something that you have to relearn. It's not foreign. It's not difficult. There's messaging, so you can keep in contact with other fans on the app. It's not like you have to jump into texts or jump into a Facebook group. And then the main component, the game changer, y'all, is the map. Again, it's the visual component of being able to actually see other people like you in the area, rather than wondering if there are actually people out there or where they might be. Not everybody's a one-team pony. So really 3 main components, along with a profile, so you can add a little bit of spice, add a little bit of flair to it too. So we wanted to keep it pretty simple, keep it easy for people to use in the early going, but again, add that game-changing feature, the visual component of the map, so that people could actually see and feel that sports fanhood in their area. Like, Courtney, I thought it was super cool just seeing you in Florida and seeing the Orioles and seeing the Pirates. And I just thought that was so cool. It's just another reminder that, we're all so different, and it shouldn't really be that hard to find each other and to kind of embrace what makes each of us unique. So go straight to the map, start to click around on people's profiles, start to figure out if there's people that root for the same teams in your area. And obviously, plan a tailgate. It's super easy to schedule a tailgate. Schedule a watch party, get people together, spread the word. So get into the map and just start to play around with it. That's what I would tell everybody.
I like the sentiment of we're not really all that different. And even if we support different teams, we're all there because we love the same sport. So we can find common ground anywhere. And I think that this app is legitimately, it's such a good idea. It's like an app that'll match you with your new best friend, essentially, if you think about it that way.
100%. I've moved so many times in my life, y'all, and it's crazy when you go somewhere and you just feel like a fish out of water, whether you've moved or whether you've, again, growing up in Philly for, 20 plus years, not knowing how to find other Detroit fans. You don't necessarily have to move to feel lost. So
exactly. What types of evolutions or maybe like added features do you see for the app in the future?
Yeah. So, I think one of the things that as the map gets more and more congested, obviously great to see so many different fans on the platform. So cool to see the map populating and more fans joining that out of market community. Again, this is the only place that out of market fans can really just show up and be them, right? Wave their flag. So it's super cool to see people putting their pride on the map. One of the things that I want to do in the future, gang, is create filterability, right?
Mhm.
It's obviously cool to see so many different out of market fans, but there becomes a point when you log on, you go, wow, this is noisy, right? So I'd love to be able to do something where, when a new Orioles fan joins, Melissa gets a message, or, when Courtney wants to jump on and find just Pittsburgh fans in Florida, we can do that, right? Rather than having to click around and find certain fan groups that way a little bit more manually. So filterability, I think, makes it a lot more personal. One of the other things that I really, really, really want to bring to life, just in that sense of community again, is a marketplace. I want to have a shop at some point in time. I see so many different local and small businesses and just kind of just organic creators on socials that are making custom jackets and they're making rugs or custom jerseys. And I would just love to give those people their own marketplace. I know that there's a lot of different marketplaces out there, but I think that it would be really, really cool to bring a shop to life. I'd love to bring a market function, a shop to Tailgate so that we can try to build them up a little bit too, and try to support locals, support small business, support creators and dreamers just like we are. So I'd love to do that. Kind of big wish list thinking, again, in that communal mindset. I'd love to figure out a way to really gamify Tailgate, getting points for attending watch parties, and then you can redeem those at local businesses, or maybe that gets you, $5 off or a free drink or appetizer the next time you come to the sports bar, right? Like, I'm always thinking about ways that we can give back, whether that's to the fans, whether that's to bars and restaurants, whether that's to local businesses, our cities, right? And the teams that we support, good causes and charitable organizations. Like, can we do more to incentivize people to get out and meet up with one another? And then how can we spin that into more giving, right? How can we give back and create more community and just continue to keep the good times rolling? I don't know. I don't think there's anything better than that. So I would love to be able to continuing to think about community and how do we bring people together and how do we make it easy but fun at the same time.
So kind of getting zeroing right into the nitty gritty of it all. Tigers 2026 season. We talked about Kevin McGonigal. Things aren't necessarily shaken out the way that anyone necessarily anticipated, but that's not really the case with the Orioles either. So we feel you. So how would you rate the 2026 season for the Tigers so far?
On how we finished last season, devastating fashion, losing the ALCS to the Seattle Mariners. So that was absolutely terrible. I'll give them a D this season, based on expectations from last season. They finished really strong. They finally got past the Guardians in the wild card round. They spoiled the division, did bounce back, took care of the guards, which I love. Devastating fashion to lose to the Mariners after that. It was like an 18-inning game that we lost in game 7. I think I was awake until 4 a.m. and they just could not put a run across the plate. That feels like it's honestly leaked into this season, ladies. I think hopes were so high for this team last year. We brought Scooble back. Pretty much the same intact roster that we had last year. Pitching, took some blows earlier in the season. Roster altogether took a lot of injury hits earlier in the season. And I think I'd give it a D, honestly. I think there have been moments when I've been wanting to lean closer towards, maybe a C+ or even a B in some moments. It's such a bipolar team this year. But listen, they're still 10 games over 500. They're still crushing. We're still 11 games under 500. And for a team that's been insanely inconsistent, insanely poor on the offensive and defensive ends, they've shown glimmers of hope. So there's times when I am still a hopeless optimist and I want to give them a B. I think that naturally my competitive spirit has just wanted to see more out of them. And I think as Detroiters have expected more out of them. So I'd probably give them the D on the books just for the lack of consistency, some of the mental errors, and just not bringing that same juice that we had last year. Feels like we're missing something.
Putting the D in Detroit.
Heard that.
All right. Well, based on what we've seen so far at this point in the season, what are your blind World Series predictions?
Yeah, listen, I thought a little bit about this one before we jumped on the call, ladies, and I don't want to be corny, but I think that this is something that we've all looked for a while, and I think that this is honestly a year in which we could see it happen. We've seen the Dodgers now win, 2 in a row? They're going for a three-peat. I don't think there's anybody stopping them. The NL has obviously been a lot stronger than the AL. The AL feels like it's a race to the bottom, but New York is stacked. They look great, and Tampa, surprisingly, is obviously smoking them. They look really, really good. I don't know. There's something that tells me that the Yankees are going to break through this year. And I think that whether it's MLB, whether it's baseball fans in general, I don't think anybody would hate the storyline between a New York and LA World Series. I think it's maybe a little bit too mainstream for a lot of people. That's my blind prediction. I think that this is the year that the Yankees break through. I think that, I don't want to say this, I don't want to root for the Yankees, but this could be the year that they stop the LA dynasty or the LA run. I think it would make for tremendous TV, and I think that's going to be how it shakes out.
All right. Yeah, it might be a little too mainstream for some people, and I know that a lot of people would probably roll their eyes if we saw that, but somebody's got to stop the Dodgers.
Heard that. If nothing else, it would make for amazing TV, and I'm here for that.
You know what? I can definitely agree with that sentiment. So I'll agree with you there. So thank you so much for taking some time to tell us about Tailgate. I know that I personally use Tailgate already. So Lovelies, if you have not already, go to the App Store, download Tailgate. It's spelled just like tailgate, Tailgate. Make sure you get on there, make your profile, and start connecting with fans around you. Let other people know to make their profiles so they can connect with fellow fans around them. And as soon as the web is big enough, next thing we know, we'll see tailgaters in all 50 states.
There you go.
To the moon, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Hell yeah. I love it. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Nick, now that I've gotten to dig into your brain a little bit, Hallie's going to do a little bit more digging. We're going to hit you with some rapid fire questions so that the Glovelies can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Let's ride.
All right, Hallie, take it away.
Okay. What is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport has always been baseball. I started as a kid playing baseball. It has been America's pastime for me forever. My grandma was a baseball umpire. My mom played baseball in Canada when she was younger. It's always been a big part of our family. So baseball has always been my favorite sport. It's classic. It's timeless. It's perfect. I love it. I think it's just beautiful.
Yeah. And so then does that make the Tigers your favorite sports team?
It's a tie. I will say it's a tie. It's a tie between the Tigers and the Detroit Lions. I have really loved the local Lions community that we built here in Philly. I love the Tigers, that classic old English D. I think I probably own more Tigers gear than anything else. I'd say it's probably a toss-up. Probably 1A for the Tigers, 1B for the Lions.
Excellent. Who is your favorite athlete of all time?
That's a really, really good question. I would honestly probably say it's gotta be probably Calvin Johnson, Megatron. I try to lean into the baseball thing, especially because we're on a baseball pod, but Megatron, dude, was so dominant when he was with the Lions. Who do you know that was named after a Transformer? He was literally a monster.
Nice.
And that was some of the years in which the Lions were their worst. I at least had the best wide receiver in football to watch. And so I don't know. He was always somebody who, again, led with his performance on the field, didn't do really any talking, was not an off the field problem, always gave, Detroit something to root for. Love somebody who I can root for both on the field and off the field. So I'd probably say it's Calvin Johnson, honestly.
Hell yeah. Do you have a comfort TV show or movie?
Oh, I do. So I have a favorite TV show. I always turn Friends on. I love Friends. I've been watching Friends 20 plus years. It never gets old. It always reminds me of how simple the 90s were and just Friends always gets me fired up. It always makes me laugh, no matter how many times I've seen a particular season or episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I do, honestly. I'm a really good bowler, and I try not to say that too confidently, but I don't think many people know that I bowl outside of kind of my inner circle. Bowl two-handed. So rather than, the conventional one-handed style, I throw with two hands. So
Like
it's
a
a little,
like a spinny kind of a
yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
wonky, but I saw a guy do it on TV once. I said, you know what? Again, you guys know me. I like to be different. I like moving different, feeling different, looking different. I said, I'm going to try that. Yeah, I'd probably say that's my hidden talent. I think that's something that people don't know I'm sneakily good at.
Hell yeah.
a
And like
good
what a fun
compliment.
thing to be really good at.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
If you played baseball, what would your walk-up song be?
Walk-up song, if I played baseball still, would be "Get Down on It" by Kool and the Gang.
Ooh.
Great choice.
Wow.
Always makes me want to bust a move. Always puts me in a good mood. It's just that there's something about that soul era, that funk, that just gets me in a good mood. So I think if I'd struck out 3 times, I still needed something to juice me up for that fourth AB. I think that "Get Down on It," any of them honestly, could probably get me going.
Excellent. And what is your favorite sports memory?
Favorite sports memory. This is gonna get a little sappy. I will give my favorite sports memories to my mom. When I was growing up, ladies, my mom was a single parent, and I had a lot of baseball games when I was younger. And because she was a nurse and because she was a single mom, she wasn't able to make it to a lot of my baseball games. But I'll say this, the games that she was able to make it to, I played center field when I was playing baseball, and the times that I was able to, look up from that stance where I had my hands on my knees in the outfield, when I was able to look to the sidelines and see my mom sitting there and hear her voice when I didn't know if she was going to make it or I did, it was, I still get chills talking about it. Those were the greatest memories for me, knowing that my biggest cheerleader was there for me. And I think that that's part of who I've become as a person, and wanting to be everybody else's biggest cheerleader and wanting to see everybody else win and feel loved and supported. And all of my favorite memories have her voice in them. And it's still so funny to talk to guys from little league and from high school that can reverberate and recite to me the little sayings and the phrases that my mom used to say. She was always the loudest person, and so she is the world to me, and she's so much a part of my story, especially on the baseball side. So shout out to Mom. Shout out to Janet Cipolletta. She's an amazing woman. I love her so much.
Oh, excellent.
Nice.
That's so lovely.
I told you I was going to hit you in the feels. I'm glad you saved that.
Somebody's cutting onions in here.
Courtney's crying over there.
You almost got me choked up. It's sweating. It's hot in here, so I'm sweating and tearing at the same. There's a lot of fluid in this room right now.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us, Nick. And thank you to your mom for supporting you all these years and getting you to where you are now. Because, moms are everything.
Everything. And say it again. Hell yeah. Moms are everything.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, moving on, Glovelies, we are going to dive right into our top 5 of the week. And inspired by Nick and his app Tailgate, we are going to break down our top 5 tailgate essentials. There's a lot of things that can go into making a great tailgate. So, Nick, would you like to start us out with your number 5 selection?
Yeah, honestly, I think that I would say number 5 is good weather conditions.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that, it's not a must-have. It would be great, obviously, if every tailgate you had a sunny day, but it's one of those things that, if it's raining, fine, we'll still get out there and have ourselves a good time. We're dedicated, right? The function's going down no matter what. We're going to come prepared no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to have all the supplies and all the things, but obviously we'd like to have a sunny day. I'd say the weather conditions aren't necessarily crucial, but they are nice to have.
All right. I love that answer. All right, Melissa, what you got for number 5?
All right, this will be related to a later answer, but as a female, proximity to facilities is key
Ooh.
when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
tailgating.
Yeah.
Okay?
If there's not
Yeah.
a real toilet nearby, I don't want to be there.
Or at least I have to be somewhere where no one's gonna see me go in the woods or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, proximity to facilities, I'm going to go ahead and say is crucial. So
Mm.
love that
Mhm.
answer. Hallie, what you got for number 5?
One thing that I think is essential to all outdoor activities is proper sun protection. Whether
Ooh.
that's a fancy little tent that pops up, sunscreen, but like nothing ruins a party more than heat stroke and a medical emergency.
Well, you heard it here first, Glovelies. If you want to party, use protection.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
That's awesome.
My number 5 is going to be a positive and generous attitude. Now, I know that I have said previously that a good attitude is my number one thing that you should bring out to a baseball game. However, at the tailgate, I think a positive and generous attitude is going to probably come second, fifth in this case, to a few other specifics. However, if you are at a tailgate, specifically if you're hosting a tailgate, you got to be prepared for other people to come up to you and to be sharing in that moment and sharing in that sense of community with you. So positive and generous attitude, welcoming some new friends is going to be critical for me in my eyes. And sharing is caring.
Totally.
All right, Nick, what is going to be your number 4?
The number 4 for me, I debated putting this higher on the list, honestly, ladies, but you can make do if we don't have it. You got to have a folding table.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is dangerous for our Buffalo Bills fans. I hesitate to say this should be higher on the list if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, because you're going to break 100 of them at a tailgate, right? But you can't do, whether you're a drinker or a non-drinker, you can't do drinking games. There's really nowhere to put the food if you don't have a table, right? Unless everybody has a pickup truck or something. So you got to have a table. That's absolutely paramount. That's where kind of the function centers around.
Yep.
And that's where it gets a little blurry too sometimes. So you got to have a table. A lot of the vibes come from the table. So number 4 spot would be a table for me.
A table and then a backup table if you're a Bills fan.
Heard that. Amen.
Love it. Love it. All right, Melissa, what you got for number 4?
Your solid immediate group and then your surrounding tailgaters. I think it's very
Okay.
important. The people that you're tailgating with are a fun group of people. I'm sure we've all been to a tailgate where you have 1 or 2 people where you're like, why are you even here? And then, of course, it makes the experience more fun when everyone around you is strangers and they're having fun too.
Yeah, just got to make sure everyone's on the same page. I think you'll be fine. Love it.
That's my goats.
Hallie, what you got for number 4?
My number 4 is a good cooler.
Okay.
It's important to me that drinks and cold sides are kept at an appropriate temperature. Nothing upsets me more than things being warm when they should be cold. So a good cooler will get the job done.
Okay.
Essential.
So if you're going to eat, be safe. And if you're going to party, use protection.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the new tagline.
Perfect. I love it. My number 4 is going to be good music. I don't think this is going to be the number one thing that the tailgate is going to revolve around. However, I do think good music can amplify the vibe.
Yep.
And the vibe is everything.
There's a bunch of different flavors at tailgate, right?
You know
There
what? There are.
Maybe you're feeling a little Celine Dion, something hits.
Listen,
Oh, man.
that's the way it
point of the
is.
party. What's the point of the function if you can't play Celine Dion?
That's the way it is. That'll turn a tailgate from a 10 to an 11, in my opinion.
Yes.
100%.
So
Yes.
My heart will go on.
exactly. I love it. Okay. So good music. That's going to be my number 4. All right. Moving on to number 3. Nick, what you got for us?
All right, so number 3 for me, gang, has to be a group shot. What's a tailgate if you don't have any proof that it happened, right? Again, we talked about good drinks, good people, the vibes, right? Sometimes it gets a little blurry after those first couple go down. That group shot is like a legacy moment. It's always something that you want to look back at, see who was at the function, right? Remind you of your people, the good times. Maybe it reminded you of a big win or a tough loss, but it always goes back to the people that you had by your side and the good times that you had before the event of the game even started. So I'd say a group shot.
When you first said group shot, I thought you meant everyone taking a shot together.
Also important.
I was going to
Double.
say, yeah, you could combine the two. Take a photo of
Yes.
everyone taking a shot together.
Yes. Amen. I like that, Corey. I like that.
There you go.
Mhm.
Melissa, what you got for number 3?
Let's see. I did top-notch munchies and food because if you don't have good food at a tailgate, it's not a tailgate. I'm sorry. Like,
It's not real.
it's not real. Like, I'm not there to just drink. I'm there to eat too. I'm there
Yeah.
to binge,
Yeah.
so I can go into the sporting event and binge even more.
Yep.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
You gotta have balance.
that's right.
Exactly.
That's
100%. Hallie, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the right meats for the day. So, because like depending on what kind of sport it is, you're not necessarily going to want the same kind of hot dog. You may not want a burger. What if it's like, imagine somebody brings ribs to the tailgate. No offense, I don't want a burger at a baseball event. I don't necessarily want a hot dog at soccer. I want the right meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's not festive, it's not right.
I gotta hear what Courtney's got to say about this.
So, just to
Yeah.
recap, Hallie wants you to bring the right meat. She said, if you're going to eat, be safe. And then if you're going to party, use protection.
Exactly.
Yes.
Got it. Just wanted to recap
Yes.
where we were.
It's batting for the cycle on this pod, I think, honestly.
Mhm.
Honestly, yeah. Why not? My number 3 is going to balance out Melissa's top notch munchies and food, and that's going to be drinks for everyone.
Mm.
I would say, however much booze you're buying, buy like 20% extra, because then that's plenty to go around. And if you are showing up to the tailgate, you got to show up with something to share.
That's how you
Yeah.
find your new favorite drink.
Exactly.
And at some point, whatever is there becomes my favorite drink.
Period.
Love that.
All right, we are closing this down. Nick, what you got for number 2?
So number 2, I'm going to piggyback off of one of our previous answers here, but I'm going to spin it a little bit, okay? Not necessarily close proximity bathrooms. As long as there are a plethora of bathrooms, I will go to them, right? I will seek them. And sometimes the ones that are nearby have insanely long lines. I just need enough porta potties to be able to find a spot, right? A needle in the haystack. So I'd say plenty of restroom options, maybe not necessarily in close proximity, but it starts to turn into mayhem if you got people looking for options. So I think as long as you've got enough, if you put them, we will come.
I like it. That's perfect. All right, Melissa, what's your number 4 going to be?
It's going to go along with Nick's folding table, and it is straight up beer pong.
Okay.
In my experience,
Hell yeah.
tailgate is not a tailgate unless you are playing beer pong.
I love it. Hallie, what's your number 2?
So this is going to be a highly controversial number 2 because so many people find this very gross. I need there to be coleslaw at the tailgate. I
That is a
need
hot
there to
take.
be. I need it. It's my favorite picnic side dish. I like that it's cold and crunchy and a little bit slimy. I think it's a perfect food. I think it is God's second most perfect food. And I'm okay with this controversial pick and opinion being made public.
I mean, I'm here for you. I just
Fight me in the
thought
comments.
makes
I don't
me wanna-
know.
I don't have anything pithy to say about coleslaw. I really don't.
I like it
Just
cold.
make
and
sure you
wet.
have the
I
right
don't know.
meats.
Just make sure you have the right meat. Bring
Yeah.
the meat. Oh man. Well, I guess coleslaw falls under the umbrella of my number 2, which is good food. I again, like drinks for everyone. Having food to share is critical to the success of a good tailgate. It also sets the mood for the rest of the day. And yeah, there we go.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, gang, we have come to our number 1 pick. So, Nick, what's it going to be? What's your number 1 tailgate essential?
Number 1 tailgate essential. Ladies, it all starts with the game day fit. You have to have the game day fit. It has to be on 10. You can't leave the house to go to the function to be with all your besties, family, friends. Maybe you got some coworkers in the mix. Look good, feel good, play good, right? None of that happens if you don't look good, right? You gotta feel your best to play your best. I don't think that you can step into a proper tailgate if you're the only one in like a white t-shirt while everybody else has O's gear on, right? Like I'm not going to go to a Tigers tailgate with no Tigers gear on. That's insane, right? So I am looking forward to these tailgates like they're Christmas. I'm making sure that the second I step out of the door, it's like the best I've ever looked in Detroit gear. I'm like feeling my best. I'm ready to have a day, ladies. And it all starts with the fit.
Hell yeah.
I
Yes.
endorse that 100%.
Let's go.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Melissa, what's it going to be?
And
What's
this-
your number one?
In a similar vein, it is Die Hard team spirit.
Love
If
it.
You're like, if you're going to a tailgate, you better be for that team and you better be showing your team spirit. I don't care how you're doing it, but you better do it. You want to decorate your tailgate with flags, and that makes it even better. So
Love it.
Perfect. Absolutely. Hallie?
So this goes along with just like maintaining the like most immaculate vibe possible at the tailgate. So what's most important to me for that is appropriate volume control of your music.
Okay.
If there's a tailgate next door to you and they're playing something really loud, the solution is not to play your music even louder. Probably there are not a ton of children running around the tailgate, but even if there aren't a ton of children running around at the tailgate, there's me running around at the tailgate. And Courtney has seen this happen to me. Nothing will send me like into a tailspin faster than too many sounds that are too loud.
It's true.
And once there are too many sounds and it's too loud, the game is over. The day is done. I gotta go home.
Correct. I love that answer.
I
It's
love
also
that.
about being
And then-
courteous to the people around you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because then if you're respectful to them, like maybe they'll share some of their snacks with you.
Period.
Let's go.
I love it.
Make a new friend at the tailgate.
Exactly.
And then like
Mhm.
at the next one, you can combine and have a super tailgate.
Super
Boom.
tailgate. Super
Yeah.
tailgate.
Build community.
All right. So to wrap up our top five, my number one is going to be good company. The company that you surround yourself with, Melissa, you said this earlier, the company you surround yourself with at your tailgate, as well as, you know, how your attitude reflects onto the tailgaters around you. And if they become your company, that's everything. That is the number one thing that can affect the vibe. And I think that everything else is going to contribute to the vibe, but the vibe is ultimately who you've got around you. If nothing else, if you have $0 to your name and you want to go and do a tailgate, at the absolute minimum, you've got your friends around you.
Heard that.
Love
I
it.
love that one, Corey. That's the way to put a bow on that. Because I think you're right. I think we could all probably come up with a time when we were like, that tailgate was sloppy, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
me
I was
and
with
my
my
people were
besties.
there, right?
Yeah.
So it's good, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I really do think that we covered so much on this list that kind of goes hand in hand to creating an overall fantastic experience. So good job to us. Shout out
Thank
shout out
you.
all of us.
and you know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
thought too? You know what I thought? To tie it all together with everything that we said, you need trash cans, trash bags,
yeah.
right? Maybe like an asterisk. It's maybe not in our top five somewhere,
Honorable
but it's
Honorable
mention.
mention.
it is an honorable mention, right? You gotta have some way to, again, in keeping the place clean and being a good
Yes.
community member, a good tailgater, right? You gotta have a plan to clean it all up. No staff member should have to do that stuff.
100%. 100%. All right. Well, good job, gang. All right, Glovelies, what did you think of our top 5 tailgate essentials? What is your number one tailgate essential? Let us know in the comments. What did you think of our picks? Let us know in the comments. All right, Glovelies. Now, before we wrap things up, we are going to leave you with some recommended media for this week, brought to you by our very own No Regrets reader. Take it away, Melissa.
So this week, since Nick is joining us and we're talking about tailgates, we're going to venture into one of my favorite movie genres, which is football movies. I don't know what it is, but I love a good football movie. I didn't even start watching the sport until I met my husband, but I have always loved a football movie since I saw Rudy for the first time. But for today, we're going to talk about a 90s classic that I've already passed on to my kids, Little Giants. A classic movie from 1994, a comedy that stars Ed O'Neill, Rick Moranis, and a young Devon Sawa. All right, so Kevin and Danny O'Shea are brothers that both love football, but only Kevin was good enough to go all the way. A former Heisman Trophy winner, Kevin is now settled at home in their hometown, Urbana, Ohio, coaching the local Pee Wee football team. When Danny's tomboy daughter, Becky, tries out for the team, she's the best player on the field, but Kevin still cuts her from the team because she's a girl. Frustrated she didn't make the team, Becky declares she's going to create her own team with the other kids that were cut, with Danny serving as the coach. Danny isn't on board at first, but when Kevin pokes the bear and implies Danny isn't good enough to coach a football team, Danny accepts the challenge and makes it his mission to beat Kevin's Pee Wee Cowboys. Danny and Becky recruit a team of misfits, coining them the Little Giants, and attempts to shape them into a team that has a chance to beat Kevin's far superior team. When Becky recruits Junior Floyd as a quarterback, the team has a chance, but there's just one problem. Tomboy Becky now needs to balance her first crush with her need to prove herself as a football player. All right, so we have talked on more than one occasion on this podcast about the superiority of 90s kids films, but mostly from a baseball perspective. So this was the kids football movie for millennials. It has some of our favorite messages that we talk about here. Girls can do anything. Sports are for everyone. Hard work pays off. Be nice to everyone. Sports are supposed to be fun. And of course, don't underestimate the underdog. These messages are woven into the movie through a series of hilarious moments with a cast of characters you can't help but find endearing. It's probably also one of the most quotable kid movies out there. If you haven't gone to somebody and said, intimidation, guys, you got it. It's like the best line of the movie. There's even cameos from John Madden and some of the most famous football players from the early 90s, including Emmitt Smith, who was, at the time, a Super Bowl winning Dallas Cowboy. So hands down, this movie is 5 stars. It gets as much play in my house as The Sandlot does. And if you've never seen it, I don't care how old you are, you need to check it out. And if you don't, it's a total fumblerooski.
Hell yeah. This is football Sandlot for me, this movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
A lot of 90s kids, when they think about Devon Sawa, they're like, oh, I had such a crush on him. He was Casper. And I'm like, no.
No. He was Junior Floyd.
Junior from the Little Giants. And that's how I had a crush on him.
Take that picture right on a Tiger Beat and slap that shit on the wall, man.
What?
Yes.
My favorite is the little scrawny kid that's like looking in the mirror. And he's like, I'm going to pump you up. It's so good.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
The annexation of Puerto Rico. That's right. Yes. He's like, no mercy, no ball. Come on. I love that.
Is he the same one he was foaming at the mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
I use these for acid indigestion. I could probably quote the whole movie, honestly.
So good.
Classic.
Something else just clicked for me.
What?
That Madden is the video game is not named after.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
It's not named after the shoe brand, which I thought it was because it's spelled the same way.
Allie, that's two admissions on one pod.
A year of discovering things and realizing things.
You thought the football video game was named after Steve Madden, the shoe designer?
Yes.
Every day is a school day, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what, though? I love, Hallie, is that you admit these things out loud and you own up to them and you don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Anything for the podcast. Anything for the Glovelies.
Oh, my God.
All
right, Melissa. Well, if our listeners would like to talk to you about this recommendation or make recommendations of their own, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram or Facebook at no_regrets_reader. I take movie recommendations too.
Period. All right, Glovelies. Well, I would love to take a moment to shout out the amazing Nick Burnett for joining us today. Nick, where can our listeners find you if they want to follow more of your content or follow Tailgate?
Yeah, listen, tap into the Tailgate movement on Instagram. And TikTok at tailgate.fan. Check out our website, same thing, tailgate.fan. I'm on Facebook as the Tailgate app, so just Tailgate app on Facebook. And listen, you're trying to slide into the emails, nick.burnett at tailgate.fan. If you got ideas, if you want to get fan community on the board, if you know a fan group that could use a platform to try to bring people together and get away from old-fashioned Facebook, feel free to slide into the DMs on social, shoot me an email, smoke signal, however you can get in contact with me. Happy to help and happy to help bring sports fans together, obviously, most importantly.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. And, well, Glovelies, that's going to do it for this episode of Glove Actually. Once again, I would love to thank Nick Burnett for joining us, and thank you all for listening. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the Glove Actually podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to turn on those post notifications to stay in the loop when we post new episodes every Wednesday. All right, gang, what are we looking forward to most this week in the world of baseball? Who do you hope has fun this week? Nick?
You know, I'm going to take it back to baseball and keep it central since we are on the Glove Actually podcast. I'm just going to give it up one time for my boys. You know, we're on a 3-game win streak. I'm hoping my Detroit Tigers have a good week this week. We are currently losing 3-0 to the Texas Rangers. But that's okay. I hope my boys have a good week. I hope we play smart baseball. I hope we stay safe, stay healthy, move into the All-Star break with some momentum. We got to make some real positive headway in the second half of this season if we're going to have any chance of either clawing back in the division or the wild card race. It all starts with this week, keeping the momentum from that road series against New York going. Got to have my my Motor City Kitties roaring.
Definitely. Love it. Hallie, who do you hope has fun this week?
I hope everyone visiting the United States for the first time for the World Cup is having fun this week. But I've had a lot of fun watching people try American food for the first time, and their minds being blown by how delicious it all is.
And ranch dressing.
The ranch dressing. Please don't get like in a fight with TSA because you're trying to bring a bottle of ranch home with you. That's why we invented the seasoning packets.
It's true.
Amen.
All right, Melissa, who do you hope has fun this week?
All right. Well, I got two things. One, I'm going to second what Nick said, and I hope that all the MLB players going into the All-Star week have a great week, especially the Baltimore Orioles. And then I'm going to repeat something from a couple weeks ago. I hope I have fun this week because here's my update. Adley Rutschman got rescheduled, and I was unable to make the Adley Rutschman date. But my husband contacted Jimmy Seafood and said, hey, can we switch it to Gunnar Henderson? So I'm going to see Gunnar Henderson on Monday.
Hey!
Hello.
I love it. Well, not to be Debbie Downer, however, I hope that Oakland Athletics AA affiliate outfield prospect Ryan Lasko has fun this week. I'm not sure how many of you guys saw this game, especially because it was a AA game. However, Ryan Lasko collided head first with his teammate while diving for a fly ball, and he collided with him in such a weird, freaky way that he fractured his spine, I think in 2 places, and he had to undergo spinal surgery. And reportedly his spinal surgery went well, but he has not yet regained the feeling in his legs.
Oh, woof. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So on behalf of all of us here at Glove Actually, we are sending Ryan Lasko all the well wishes, all the good vibes, the thoughts and the prayers, as well as obviously the care team that is overseeing his injury care. So not to be a super Debbie Downer, not to leave it on a heavy note, but, you know, unfortunately, some of these really serious injuries can lead to the end of careers. And we are really hoping that this is not the end for Ryan Lasko.
God to the Laskos.
All right. Well, best wishes to you, Ryan. And this has been Glove Actually. I'm Courtney.
I'm Hallie.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Melissa.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great week, Glovelies. And as always, be kind, keep it cute, and stay glovely.
Stay glovely.